The dust swirled around his sandaled feet. Jesus, weary from his journey, crested the Mount of Olives. Before him, bathed in the golden light of the setting sun, lay Jerusalem, the city of David, the heart of his people. A sigh, deep and sorrowful, escaped his lips. His followers watched, puzzled, as a single tear traced a path through the dust on his cheek. He wasn't one to weep easily. What sorrow, they wondered, could bring such anguish to their teacher's heart? "Jesus, Master," Peter ventured, his voice hushed with concern. "What troubles you so?" Jesus turned, his gaze sweeping over his disciples, his eyes filled with a sorrow that pierced their souls. "Jerusalem," he murmured, his voice thick with emotion. "Oh, Jerusalem." The disciples exchanged uneasy glances. Why did Jerusalem, a city adorned with such splendor, evoke such sadness in their leader? It pulsed with life, a testament to their heritage, a symbol of their faith. "If only you knew," Jesus said, his voice heavy with unshed tears, "what makes for peace." He gazed at the city, his heart breaking for its people, blinded by their own desires, deaf to the whispers of true peace. "But now," he continued, his voice thick with sorrow, "it is hidden from your eyes." He saw beyond the city walls, beyond the bustling crowds and the grandeur of the temple. He saw the hardened hearts, the thirst for power, the seeds of discord sown deep within their souls. Jerusalem, he knew, was a city on the brink, a city about to reject its only hope for true peace. "The days will come upon you," Jesus began, his voice heavy with the weight of prophecy, "when your enemies will build an embankment against you." His words hung in the air, sharp and ominous, silencing the disciples' questions. "They will surround you and hem you in on every side," he continued, his voice echoing the coming siege. "They will dash you to the ground, you and the children within your walls." His words painted a vivid, horrifying picture, a stark contrast to the city's current grandeur. "They will not leave one stone upon another," Jesus concluded, his voice filled with anguish, "because you did not recognize the time of God's coming to you." The disciples struggled to comprehend his words. How could their beloved Jerusalem, the city of God, face such a fate? Silence fell over the group as they descended towards the city. The weight of Jesus' words pressed down on them, heavy and suffocating. They had mistaken the outward appearance of peace, the bustling markets, the grandeur of the temple, for true peace. Jesus, however, saw the truth. He saw the city's heart, hardened and unreceptive, missing the divine presence in their midst. They yearned for a conquering Messiah, a king who would establish their earthly dominance. They failed to recognize the true king, the Prince of Peace, standing before them, offering a different kind of kingdom. They were blinded by their own desires, their own interpretations of God's plan. And in their blindness, they were about to reject the very one who could save them, the one who could lead them to true, lasting peace. The following days were a blur of activity as Jesus taught in the temple courts, challenging the religious leaders, healing the sick, and offering a message of love and forgiveness. Yet, a shadow hung over everything, the weight of his prophecy a constant reminder of the city's impending doom. Jesus knew the price of peace. He knew it would cost him everything. And he knew that despite his warnings, his pleas for them to open their hearts, Jerusalem would choose a different path. They would choose destruction. Their blindness, their rejection, broke his heart. He wept not just for the physical destruction that awaited them, but for the spiritual desolation they embraced. He wept for the lost opportunity, the chance for peace that slipped through their fingers like grains of sand. Centuries have passed since Jesus wept over Jerusalem. The city has known periods of peace, but also times of great turmoil and destruction, echoing the truth of his words. His tears serve as a poignant reminder of the fragility of peace, the ever-present potential for conflict, for blindness, for choosing the path of destruction. But his tears also hold a deeper message, a message that transcends time and place. They speak of a love so profound, so encompassing, that it weeps for those who reject it. They speak of a heart broken by the choices we make, choices that lead us away from true peace, from the divine presence that yearns to embrace us. His tears are an echo, a timeless lament for every heart hardened by pride, every mind blinded by self-interest, every soul that chooses darkness over light. They are a call to look beyond the superficial, to seek the true peace that only comes from aligning our hearts with God's heart. The story of Jesus weeping over Jerusalem is not just a historical event. It is a mirror reflecting our own lives, our own choices. It challenges us to ask ourselves, are we, like the people of Jerusalem, blind to the divine moments unfolding around us? Do we recognize the opportunities for peace, for reconciliation, for choosing love over hate, forgiveness over bitterness? Or are we too caught up in our own desires, our own pursuits, to see the bigger picture, to recognize the moments that truly matter? The path to peace is often hidden, obscured by our own making. It requires us to quiet our hearts, to look beyond the surface, to see with eyes of compassion and understanding. It requires us to recognize the divine moments in the everyday, the opportunities to choose love, to extend grace, to be instruments of peace in a world that desperately needs it. Despite the sorrow, despite the heartbreak, the story of Jesus weeping over Jerusalem is ultimately a story of hope. It reminds us that even in the face of rejection, even when faced with the consequences of our choices, God's love remains. His tears are not tears of defeat, but tears of love, tears of longing for our hearts to turn towards Him, to embrace the path of peace He offers. They are a reminder that no matter how far we stray, no matter how lost we may feel, there is always a way back. We have a choice to make. We can choose the path of Jerusalem, the path of blindness and destruction, or we can choose the path of peace, the path of love, the path that leads us back to the heart of God. The choice is ours. Even in His prophecy of destruction, Jesus planted seeds of redemption. He offered a glimpse of a future where true peace would reign, not through military might or political power, but through the transformative power of love and forgiveness. His tears watered those seeds, nourishing the hope that one day Jerusalem, and indeed the whole world, would recognize the time of God's coming, would open their hearts to His love and embrace the peace that surpasses all understanding. The path to peace may be long and arduous, but it is a journey worth taking. It is a journey that begins with a single step, a choice to turn towards the light, to embrace the love that heals, to become instruments of peace in a world longing for redemption.